Saving Strawberry Farm, written by Deborah Hopkinson and illustrations by Rachel Isadora. The sun was so mean that summer, it seemed to chase all the clouds away. "It's hot enough to fry an egg on the street," Dad said. I wondered if an egg really would fry, but we couldn't waste one to try it. Mom made us eat just about every egg our scrawny chickens laid. That summer, there wasn't much else. Before, when Dad worked regularly, our icebox was full of food. To keep it cold, we put a card in the window to tell the iceman how much ice to deliver. And every day after school, Mom fixed us cold, sweet lemonade in tall glasses with big chips of sparkling ice. But that was before. Before Dad and just about everyone else lost their jobs. Before times got hard. Now we only kept one room lit after dark. We made do with our old clothes, and we didn't eat meat. The Iceman didn't come to our house anymore, either. "Tomorrow's the 4th of July, Dad said. No matter how bad things are, it's still our country's birthday. Maybe we could have a picnic like we used to." Mom brightened. "Well, I suppose we could buy a block of ice and make lemonade. I might have enough sugar saved back for cookies." Mom gave me a dime from the tin. "Get a block of ice from Mr. Russell's store, Davy. Take Dad's old yellow raincoat to wrap it in. You and little Rose come right back. Don't let it melt." After the bright sun, the inside of Mr. Russell's store seemed dark, but Rosie knew just where to go. She streaked past canned goods and bolts of cloth, hammers, nails, and chicken feed, and barrels of flour and cornmeal, straight to the candy counter. Somehow, candy always looked better when we didn't have money. Red Hots and peppermint sticks, lemon drops and malted milk balls, long strings of licorice. Mr. Russell spotted me. "Davy, help Miss Elsie out with her grocery bag, will you? I got to fetch some sugar from the back for Mrs. Stone." Everyone knew Elsie Elkins. She had the prettiest strawberry farm in the county. Mom took us strawberry picking every June. We'd come home with flats of plump, juicy fruit, enough to make jam for the whole winter. Miss Elsie never minded if you ate while you picked. I liked to find the fattest, reddest strawberries hiding deep under the leaves. When you put one in your mouth, it was like tasting summer. I followed Miss Elsie out to her Ford Model A truck. "Can I work for you next year, Miss Elsie? I'll be old enough." "Davy, there probably won't be a strawberry farm next summer." She sighed. Miss Elsie pulled out an old brown penny from her purse. "I don't have many pennies left, but I still like to tip a good boy." I held the penny tight as the truck chugged away. Rosie's eyes got round when she saw the penny. Would I choose caramels or Red Hots, suckers or Tootsie Rolls? Then I heard Mr. Russell's voice, gray as a thundercloud. Shame about Miss Elsie losing Strawberry Farm. "When's the auction?" Miss Stone asked. "Tonight, 5 o'clock. So that's what Miss Elsie meant. Why is she losing the farm, I wanted to know. "Can't keep up her payments to the bank," Mr. Russell told me, wrapping up a poke of sugar for Mrs. Stone. "That's not fair," I cried. "Lots of people don't have money now." Mr. Russell leaned on the counter. "Boy's got a point," he said in a low voice. "Maybe we should try a penny auction." "What's that?" I asked. "Usually the person who offers the most money at an auction gets the farm," explained Mr. Russell. "But a penny auction, everyone gets together to keep the bids real low. That way Miss Elsie can afford to buy her own farm back." "The bank folks don't like penny auctions," Miss Stone added, "so the whole town has to get behind it. How can we let folks know in time?" "Davy, I bet Miss Elsie gave you that penny you're holding on to so tight," said Mr. Russell. "Now on your way home, you show that to everyone you see. Tell them to come to the auction. Don't forget to show the penny," Miss Stone added. "Folks will know what it means." Rosie dropped her end of the heavy block of ice. "Why couldn't we buy candy?" she whined again. "I told you, this penny is special, like a secret code. Come on, Rosie," I growled. "We have to hurry." If only I had a wagon. If I had a wagon, I could fetch ice by myself, without a tag-along little sister. Once I cut out a picture of a shiny red wagon in the Sears catalog and kept it in a box under my bed. But after a while, I stopped hoping for it and tore it up. We walked down Maple and up Holly Street. Most people, like Dad, didn't have jobs, so folks were sitting on front porches or working outside. Mrs. Moore was in her garden, the best in town. Sometimes Mom would give me a half a dozen eggs to trade for lettuce, peas, or carrots. If anyone deserves help, it's Elsie Elkins, she said, wiping the sweat from her forehead. That's ladies as sweet as the strawberries she grows. Next, we told Dad's friend Ted. Since he lost his job at the factory, he spent most days carving spoons from wood. Ted was always trying to sell them for a few pennies or trade them for food. I'll be there, he said. Make sure you tell Nellie Hall. She's got a telephone and can pass the word. We went up and down the streets, showing the penny. Wherever have you been? That ice must be melted, Mom cried when we finally got home. Dad's raincoat was a little drippy, I noticed. I held up the penny once more. We have to help save Strawberry Farm. By 5 o'clock, Miss Elsie's dusty yard was full of people talking quietly and fanning themselves in the heat. I climbed up on the back of Miss Elsie's truck to see over all the heads. Mrs. Stone smiled at me. You did a good job, Davy. Look at this crowd. A skinny man in a gray suit stood on a wagon, waving his hand in the air. Now, folks, we're here to auction off this nice farm, the man said. Serious bids only, please. The crowd grew silent, as though the shadow of a hawk had passed overhead. The man cleared his throat. How about someone starting off with a bid of $300? Around me, the grown-ups gasped. $300? That was too much. If someone made a bid that high, Miss Elsie could never buy her farm back. Folks stared at the ground, shuffling their feet in the dry dust. The silence deepened. Nobody wanted to be the first to speak up. Maybe, I thought, everyone's afraid of the bank man. Come on, folks, said the auction man. I felt nervous. I stuck my hands in my pockets. Miss Elsie's penny was still there. I could see her standing near the front, her shoulders straight and thin under her summer dress. I took a deep breath, held up the penny, and yelled as loud as I could. 1 penny for Strawberry Farm. Every head turned toward me. The auction man's face flushed red as an overripe berry. He opened his mouth to yell, but before he could, Mr. Russell slapped his thigh and shouted, I'll raise Davy's bid to a dime, mister. 2 bits, yelled Dad. Ted waved one of his spoons in the air. $1 even. Suddenly, the crowd came alive with bids, each higher than the next, but only by a nickel, a dime, or 2 bits. And if anyone still thought of offering a lot of money, well, he or she wouldn't do it now. Our town wouldn't stand for it. When the bidding got up to $9.50, Miss Elsie's voice rang out. $9.75 for Strawberry Farm. And that was it, the last bid. There was nothing the auction man could do except sell the farm back to Miss Elsie. People passed a hat and threw in coins to help Miss Elsie come up with the money. Afterward, she walked through the crowd, smiling, and climbed up beside me on her little truck. Thank you, dear friends, for this wonderful gift, she said, her voice shaky with tears. And if I can make it till spring, you're all invited to come pick some strawberries for free. I watched the sun sink low until it touched the fields and made their poor dryness glow like a hopeful new penny. The cool night air felt so good no one wanted to leave Strawberry Farm. Or maybe we knew we'd made something special together, something we didn't want to break apart. On the way home, Dad carried Rosie on his shoulders. Mom and I counted fireflies. Almost as good as firecrackers, she whispered. We didn't have a picnic for Independence Day, after all. Mom and Dad had given all their extra coins to help buy Strawberry Farm. We still had some ice, though. We sat on the stoop, talking to our neighbors, drinking cold lemonade full of big chips of sparkling ice that bounced against our noses. I put Miss Elsie's penny in the box under my bed. I figured I had to start somewhere to save for a wagon, and maybe next summer I'd get to work on Strawberry Farm. There were lots of times I almost spent that penny on candy, but I never did. The end.